He walked into the bedroom, the ring in his hand, ready to propose to the love of his life, only to find her in bed with his best friend. "What are you doing?" he roared, as betrayal ignited a heart-pounding mystery. A shocking discovery in a stranger's basement flips Marcus Johnson's world, revealing a truth that could destroy him or lead to a better future. Marcus Johnson stepped off the bus, the weight of his duffel bag nothing compared to the hope swelling in his chest. 2 years in the war-torn desert had carved scars into his black, 30-something frame, both seen and unseen, but the velvet box in his army jacket pocket anchored him. Inside was a diamond ring, the promise of forever with Lena. The small town street was hushed, late afternoon sun casting golden shadows across picket fences. Marcus adjusted his jacket, broad shoulders squared, and whispered, "This is it, Lena. Our forever starts today." He approached their modest house, the porch steps creaking under his boots like a familiar hymn. The living room was warm, photos of him and Lena, her smile radiant, his arm around her, lining the walls. But the silence was wrong, heavy like the calm before an ambush. "Lena? Baby, I'm home," he called, his deep voice echoing. A muffled giggle drifted from upstairs, sharp and jarring, followed by a low, familiar voice. His stomach knotted, soldier's instincts screaming danger. His hand grazed the ring box as he climbed the stairs, each step slow, deliberate, like navigating a minefield. His pulse thudded, a warning drumbeat in his ears. The bedroom door was ajar, a sliver of light spilling out. Marcus's heart raced, his breath shallow, the ring box now in his hand, fingers trembling with anticipation. He pushed the door open, ready to drop to one knee to ask the question he'd rehearsed in his head through every sleepless night overseas. Then his world shattered. His Lena was in bed, sheets tangled around her, her body pressed against another man, James, his best friend since high school, the guy who'd sworn to have his back through anything. James's smug grin was unmistakable, his arm draped possessively over Lena, his bare chest gleaming in the dim light. "What are you doing?" Marcus roared, his voice cracking like a gunshot, raw with betrayal. The ring box slipped from his hand, hitting the floor with a sickening thud. Lena gasped, scrambling to pull the sheet up, her eyes wide with panic. "Marcus! Oh my God, you're back. I didn't know." Her voice broke, tears already forming. James sat up, unfazed, his smirk slicing deeper than any shrapnel. "Well, damn soldier. Didn't expect you this early. Welcome home, I guess." Marcus's fists clenched, veins bulging in his neck, his vision tunneling as rage and grief collided. Every muscle screamed to lunge, to erase that smirk from James's face, but his military training held him rigid, a statue of barely contained fury. 2 years, Lena, he growled, his voice low, trembling with pain. 2 years of letters, of me dreaming of you, of holding on to us through every damn explosion, and you're here with him? Lena's tears spilled, her hands shaking as she clutched the sheet. "I was lonely, Marcus. You were gone so long, and I didn't know how to wait anymore. It just happened." James stood, casually pulling on a shirt, his movements deliberate, taunting. "No need to lose it, man. Things change. People move on." Marcus's eyes locked on James, the man who'd shared beers with him, who'd promised to look after Lena while he was deployed, who'd sent him messages about keeping things under control. "You were my brother," Marcus said, his voice lethal, each word a blade. "We grew up together. You sat at my mom's table, ate her food, called her ma. And you do this." James shrugged, unrepentant, adjusting his collar. "War changes people, Marcus. So does time. You were gone. She needed someone." Marcus's chest heaved, his breath ragged, the betrayal of physical weight crushing him. He pointed at the door, his voice steel, a commander's order. "Get out. Both of you. Now." Lena sobbed, her apologies a jumbled mess as she scrambled for clothes, her hands fumbling. James sauntered out, tossing a careless, "Take it easy, soldier," over his shoulder, his chuckle echoing like a slap. Marcus turned away, unable to watch, the image of them burned into his mind, Lena's flushed cheeks, James's smug eyes, the bed that was supposed to be theirs. Alone in the living room that night, Marcus sat on the couch, the ring box open on the coffee table. The diamond glinted mockingly under the dim lamp, a cruel reminder of his shattered plans. He poured a shot of whiskey, the burn doing little to dull the ache in his chest. A photo of him and Lena at a park, her laugh frozen, his arm around her, sat beside the bottle, now a lie. His phone buzzed, a text from Tyler, another army buddy. "Heard you're back. Rusty's bar tomorrow." Marcus muttered, "Need more than a drink," and slammed the glass down, the room closing in like a bunker. The next night, Rusty's bar buzzed with locals, neon lights flickering outside the grimy windows. Marcus, still in his army jacket, pushed through the door, his face a storm of hurt and rage. Tyler, rugged and loyal, spotted him and pulled him into a bear hug. "Man, you made it. Thought the desert claimed you." Marcus's smile was brittle, barely reaching his eyes. Desert was easier than this. Over beers, he spilled the gut-wrenching scene, Lena's gasps, James's smirk, the ring hitting the floor. Tyler's jaw tightened, his fist clenching around his bottle. "James? That snake? We trusted him, man. And Lena, damn. You're Marcus Johnson, though. You'll rise above this." A woman approached, balancing a tray of drinks. Sarah, black, confident, with a warm, sharp smile that cut through the bar's haze, slid a beer to Marcus. "Overheard your story from across the room," she said, her voice teasing but kind, her eyes holding a spark of empathy. "That's rough enough to earn this one on the house. I'm Sarah." Marcus met her gaze, a flicker of light piercing his darkness. "You always listen in on heartbreak?" he asked, a faint edge of humor breaking through. She grinned, leaning on the counter. "Only the ones worth hearing. Welcome back to the real world, soldier." Tyler smirked, sensing the chemistry, but stayed quiet. Over the next month, Marcus rebuilt himself, piece by jagged piece. At the gym, he attacked weights with ferocity, sweat pouring as he growled through the pain, each lift a release of the betrayal that gnawed at him. He joined Tyler at an old community center, hammering nails into walls, the physical work grounding him, the rhythm of the hammer a counterpoint to his racing thoughts. Late nights at Rusty's, Sarah's quick wit and easy laugh chipped away at the walls he'd built. One night, as they wiped down the bar, she leaned close, her voice soft but firm. "You're more than a soldier, Marcus. You've got a heart bigger than this town. Don't let them steal that." He looked at her, her eyes steady, and felt a spark he thought was long dead. The community center became his anchor, volunteers bustling under his natural leadership. Sarah brought coffee one morning, her presence a quiet strength as they painted walls side by side. "You're transforming this place," she said, brushing paint off her cheek. "Ever think about making it permanent?" Marcus wiped sweat from his brow, hammer in hand, the weight of the ring box still in his pocket. "Just keeping busy," he said, but his voice softened. Sarah held his gaze, the air charged. "You're building something real here, Marcus. Own it." Their eyes locked, electric, until a volunteer's shout broke the moment. At a town park event, string lights twinkling above, Marcus and Sarah walked together, music and laughter swirling around them. He opened up, his voice low, vulnerable. "I was gonna propose that day. Had the ring in my hand, ready to start a life. Thought I had it all figured out." Sarah's eyes softened, her hand brushing his arm. "And now?" Marcus touched the ring box, a lingering weight he hadn't let go. "Now, I'm seeing something else." Before she could reply, Lena appeared, her face raw with regret, her hands wringing. "Marcus, please, can we talk? I messed up. I want to make this right." Her voice cracked, desperate, her eyes pleading for forgiveness. Marcus's chest tightened, the bedroom scene flashing, Lena's gasps, James's smirk, the ring hitting the floor. His pulse quickened, anger and hurt surging. He glanced at Sarah, her calm strength grounding him, then back at Lena. "You broke us, Lena," he said, his voice steady but heavy. "I loved you, but I can't go back." Lena's tears fell, her shoulders shaking, but she nodded and slipped into the crowd, her figure fading under the lights. Sarah touched his arm, her voice soft. "You good?" Marcus exhaled, a weight lifting. "Yeah, finally." But the pieces didn't fit. Lena's desperation, James's arrogance, it gnawed at Marcus, a puzzle missing its center. Late that night, unable to sleep, he drove past Lena's new apartment, his truck idling in the dark. Her car was gone, but a light flickered in a house across town, one he'd seen James near before. His gut screamed trouble, the same instinct that had saved him in combat. He parked a block away, moving like he was back on patrol, silent and sharp, his breath visible in the cold night air. The house was nondescript, but a red glow seeped from a basement window, pulsing like a warning. His pulse hammered, every sense on high alert, his body coiled like a spring. He crouched low, heart pounding, and peered through the glass, his breath catching in his throat. Inside, monitors lined the walls, images of the town flickering, Marcus's face among them, a photo from the community center pinned to a board. James stood, gesturing to a man in a suit, a map spread before them, marked with red pins. A note on the board read, Lena, leverage. Marcus's blood ran cold, his mind racing. This wasn't just betrayal. James was running something dark, surveillance, maybe trafficking, using the town as a front. Lena was a pawn, coerced to keep Marcus distracted when he returned. His heart pounded, the truth a grenade in his hands, ready to explode everything he thought he knew. He slipped away, hands shaking, his breath ragged as he ducked into the shadows, every rustle in the night amplifying his fear of being spotted. He called Tyler, his voice urgent, barely a whisper. James isn't just a traitor, he's in deep with something bad. And Lena's caught in it. Tyler met him at dawn, armed with security contacts from his post-army days, his face grim. We'll nail him, Marcus. Nobody betrays you like this. They dug, uncovering James's ties to a crime ring laundering money through the town, using local businesses as fronts. Lena, they learned, had been blackmailed, her brother's gambling debts weaponized to force her into James's bed, a calculated move to neutralize Marcus if he got too close. Marcus's rage shifted, a storm of guilt and clarity. He confronted Lena at her apartment, his voice firm but not cruel, his heart pounding as he braced for answers. Why didn't you tell me, Lena? I could have fought for you. Her eyes were hollow, her voice trembling, her hands clutching a mug like a lifeline. They threatened my brother, Marcus. Said they'd kill him if I didn't play along. I thought I was keeping you safe. Her voice broke, tears streaming. Marcus's jaw tightened, the bedroom scene replaying, now tinged with her fear instead of betrayal. You should have trusted me, he said, softer now. But we're ending this now. With Sarah's help, she knew the town's secrets, every whisper at the bar. They gathered evidence, photos of James's meetings, recordings from a bug Tyler planted, names of his associates. Marcus's heart raced as they worked, every moment tense, expecting James to strike back. One night, staking out the house, Marcus's breath hitched as James's car pulled up, headlights cutting through the dark. He ducked behind a tree, pulse hammering, as James scanned the street, his hand on something under his jacket. A gun? Marcus held his breath, every second stretching, until James went inside. The raid came swiftly after, authorities storming the house based on their tip. Marcus watched from a distance, heart pounding, as James and his crew were cuffed, the operation shattered. Lena, shaken but free, faced Marcus outside the police station. Her eyes red. I don't deserve you, she whispered. He nodded. The ring box long gone, left in a drawer at home. You deserve a fresh start, Lena. So do I. Months later, the community center stood as a beacon, its walls vibrant with murals painted by local kids. Marcus, now its full-time director, stood at a ribbon-cutting ceremony, the crowd buzzing with pride. Sarah stood beside him, her smile warm, her paint-splattered jeans a testament to her work on the murals. Kids ran around, laughing, their energy infectious. Tyler clapped Marcus's shoulder, grinning. You built this, man. New beginnings, right? Sarah nudged Marcus, her eyes sparkling. Told you you're building something real. Look at this place. It's alive because of you. Marcus grinned, his heart fuller than he'd ever thought possible. Couldn't have done it without you, he said, their eyes locking, the crowd's applause fading into a distant hum. They stepped closer, hands brushing, a new path unfolding under the bright spring sun. The center's success drew attention. A local paper ran a story calling Marcus the heart of the town's revival. A grant came through, funding programs for veterans and youth, cementing his role. One evening, as he locked up the center, Sarah stayed behind, helping stack chairs. The quiet between them was comfortable, charged. You ever think about what's next? She asked, her voice soft. Marcus paused, looking at the murals, the kids' artwork, a mosaic of hope. Used to think I had it all planned, Lena, the ring, the life. Yeah? I'm building something better. With people who see me. Sarah smiled, stepping closer. I see you, Marcus. He took her hand, his heart steady, no longer weighed by the past. Reflection. As Marcus stood in the community center, the echoes of laughter fading, he thought about the man he'd been when he stepped off that bus. The ring, once a symbol of his future, had become a chain to a life that wasn't his. The betrayal, Lena in James's arms, his best friend's smirk, had nearly broken him, but it had also cracked open a truth. He was more than his pain, more than the soldier who'd survived the desert. Uncovering James's scheme, saving Lena from her own prison, had shown him his strength wasn't just in enduring but in rebuilding. The center, Sarah, the kids, they were his purpose now, a legacy born from ashes. He'd lost a love, a friend, a plan, but he'd gained a community, a calling, and a woman who saw him, truly saw him. For the first time, Marcus felt not just whole, but boundless.